If you look back from July to now, every month Dallas has been in the top 5 in terms of number of jobs added from one month to the next. Really phenomenal. And so it's a lot of people moving here. I mean, we rank Dallas, whether we look this year, next year, even beyond, migration into Dallas from other US cities is driving a lot of our growth. Even if they're not moving here for a job, that person that moves here requires, somewhere to live, somewhere to eat, a doctor. So it'll spawn off other jobs, even if it's not their own.
So that's the creation. It's people coming in and making us bigger and bigger, and industry has to create around that.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And we can't get people fast enough. I mean, I think we would hire and create even more jobs if we could get more people to move here. The labor market is just so competitive today that whether it's for relocation or remote work, it's very tough for employers at this point to hire as fast as they would like. Dallas has had phenomenal job growth all year, but specifically if you look over the last 4 or 5 months, very steady, staying in the top 5 of all metros. If it can have the same type of month in November that it had in October, we will actually have the same amount of jobs here in Dallas as we did before the pandemic. So we'll reach it about 3 to 6 months faster than we thought even just a few months ago. So that's been phenomenal. I think the thing when you look at the jobs though, because people will be watching and say that, well, that's not my situation, that's not what I'm seeing. They're not all the same jobs that came back. So we have 30,000+ more jobs in tech, science roles, professional businesses like legal and architecture. So we have 30,000+ more of those than we did before the pandemic already. So those have been thriving. Hotels, restaurants, other entertainment venues are still down 30,000+. So it just depends on the industry and the type of job, but overall we will be back to pre-pandemic much faster than we thought.
Is there a message in there for people who are in those industries that have not come roaring back the same way that some of the industries like tech have taken off? Like, is there hope for you, I guess, if you've been left behind and you're in one of those industries that hasn't done as well? Is there a market out there for you still?
Well, the good news is all of them, for the most part, are growing. So most industries, most types of jobs are increasing month over month, if we look over a stretch of time. Yeah, there is a skills gap in some areas where businesses in some ways are looking at how can we take people from other industries, get them trained up for this job, even tech roles. I mean, high skill roles like technology where you can't find as many people as fast as you want, and so more on the job training is what I think a lot of companies are going to do, and that will help people that up to this point have not been able to find an opportunity that makes sense for them.
And that's something that would have been unheard of 4 or 5 years ago.
Everything's just fast forwarded. Yeah. Over the last year and a half, things that might have taken a decade to play out happened very quickly, and so that's why we've seen just such a shift and shuffle of talent. I would point back and look at the construction industry from the last recession. It took it more than a decade to almost reach the number of jobs it had before the pandemic. We could see similar type things for certain types of businesses out there just because of how much the world's changed.
How significant is it if we do have another month in November like we had in October in Dallas-Fort Worth, how significant is it for a market of this size to have recovered all of its jobs that it had pre-pandemic?
Oh, when you look at, you might call them peer-type markets, particularly though the ones on the Northeast and the West Coast, Los Angeles, LA, San Francisco, they're down big still, even Chicago. So they still have a lot of jobs to recover. The fact that we are so close, have almost recovered, where these other major metropolitan areas are still struggling, I think is very significant for the future of Dallas.
So this would be the biggest market in the country then, to have reached that milestone this quickly.
Yes, Dallas, once it hits, it'll be the largest market to hit that fast.
That's pretty astounding when you think about it. I mean, it's a big deal.
It is. Now our neighbors to the south help us, so Austin is already back, and having others in the region that are also healthy. So the people you do business with around the state, for them to also be doing better, that helps Dallas.
So there's sort of it's almost contagious.
Yeah,
I hate to say that because of the times we're in, but that's almost a contagion.
It creates more demand. So demand coming from other areas in the region will then spawn growth, here and other places.
And Austin has just been a star.
Austin's been fantastic. Now it has been for a long time. A lot of people moving to Austin for jobs. Dallas benefits from that.